in and you are listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, if you are tuning in, you are listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, I am talking all about change is coming. Change, okay? And I ain't talking about the change we got in our pocket. I'm talking about change is coming and change is here. And if we are not prepared, we are going to miss out on some things that our people are not prepared for. You know, we're prepared to look fly at events. We are prepared to give our best speeches. We are prepared to make sure our houses are clean for our guests when they come over. We are prepared to reprimand our children when they act up and they don't do things that we like. But are we prepared if they were to cut off our food supply? I'll wait. Does anybody in your family know about agriculture and how to survive in the event that something happens that we don't control? You show me the Black-owned neighborhood grocery store, and I'll show you if we can survive. Because the last time I checked, the people who own the things that we utilize on an everyday basis, we don't own. Oh, we own all the beauty supply store, honey, hair be laid to the gods. But do you know how to plant cucumbers, or you just know how to eat them and use them for your pleasure? Do you know how to harvest and toil your land? Or do you just know how to make sure your grass is cut to have the best grass on the block? Do your children really know how to start a fire with the little things that they have? Or do they know how to look for a lighter because that's what they always looking for, to light up your cigarettes and your blunts? Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because what you don't understand is that change is coming. And if we're not prepared for that change, what's going to happen is our children are going to suffer because of the lack of knowledge that we didn't choose to teach our children. We have to understand that right now, our world is changing dramatically. Not only is it changing dramatically, but it's changing in such a swift pace that we're not able to keep up. See, some of us can't function about what's happening in Haiti because you can't even prepare for the things that's happening in your household. It doesn't mean that it doesn't affect you. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't make you sad to see the people that look like you being whipped with whips off a saddle from a horse. It doesn't mean that it doesn't affect you, but you got to understand how our communities are set up. Our communities are set up to keep us low and to keep us in a place of need because we're consumers. All we do is consume. We take. How can I buy? How can I get more? How can I have more than the next person? How can I do better than the next person? Well, what you don't seem to understand is that there are other ethnicities that are already planning for survival. They keep their children in the stores and counting the money. Some of your kids don't even know the difference between the quarter and the nickel. If we were to take these phones from them, would they be able to survive with the technology that we once survived on? Now, I ain't about to tell y'all how old I am, but I ain't old at all. I'm in my 30s still. So what that means is that I was caught up right in that little middle part between the transition of old into the new. I was a part of the world that had the phones on the wall, and we had an extension cord, and we was talking on the phone as far as the phone would let us go. I come from an era where we had to roll down our window, okay, with our own manpower, okay, so that way that we could survive. But see, what you don't seem to understand is that we are living in a world that's not conducive for us to survive. It's conducive for us to consume. Think about it. Think how many Black people get in line for new gym shoes when they come out. But do you get in line to make sure your family is fed? What if they cut off your bridge card? Then what? What y'all gonna do then? Yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm going to add more to it. And if you're tuning in, I'm talking all about change is coming. Because if you don't think that they have created a world for us to just consume, then you got another thing coming. This is why it's so easy for a Jelani Day or a Daniel Robinson to go missing. Because y'all barely look for your own kids when they go missing. You don't ask no questions. We let our children go with whoever. We not paying attention to who they on the phone with, who their friends are. Let me tell you something. My son is at Alabama A&M, and I want to know about his roommate, where they came from, who his friends are, where they came from. Because I'll be damned if y'all try to do something to mine. And see, if we're not paying attention, we'll let our kids go so far out into the world. And then we get mad at the results that we get. See, this is one of the reasons why we have to pay attention to the world that we live in. There's no way that a young man can go missing in August and all of a sudden you can't find him or hear about it until September. But then they got the white girl with the blonde hair and the blue eyes all across the whole national TV, international. But see, this is one of the things, because if we ain't paying attention to our people, who gonna pay attention to them? If we not protecting our people, who gonna protect us? Are you hoping that private white institutions help us? Are you hoping that the white folks that we put in office are gonna protect us and look out for us? Honey, they are looking out for themselves. And unfortunately, we put these Uncle Tom cabin Negroes in office who also end up looking out for themselves. They ain't scratching our back. They ain't making sure we good. They ain't making sure we know about anything and everything to make sure and ensure that we're good on all levels. I literally have went and traveled to Louisiana this year, LA this year, New York this year. And you know what I've learned? Detroit has not gotten to a place where we are accepting of the fact that we are predominantly African-American community and actually honing in on that. Actually taking in our history on that. Black Bottom, 12th, 14th Street. Listen, there are some historic landmarks right in our community, and white folks know all about our history, but we barely know anything about them. They know where we were kidnapped from, what country. They know that we've invented math. They know we've invented science. They know everything about us. But if you ask one of your young men and one of your young women, name me a historic Black person, you know what they're going to give you? Martin Luther King. They're going to give you Malcolm X. They're going to give you Rosa Parks. But it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. And if we are not paying attention, guess what we're going to keep doing? Our kids are going to keep having kids that's not equipped to be parents. Our youth are not even going to understand where they come from or where they're going. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to consume myself with habits so that I can maintain and deal with what I'm dealing with. Give me the blunt, give me the cigarette, give me the partying, because I wasn't prepared to be a mama. I wasn't prepared to be a daddy. So now not only was I not prepared for the next generation that I'm building, but now I'm continuing the habits that my parents had. And I'm not saying you don't need a stress reliever. And I'm not saying you don't need a glass of wine or two or a bottle. Listen, I've been there, done that. My son, 18. So I'm at a different level of parenting than a lot of people who are now becoming new parents. They're now tapping into a family and they're tapping into motherhood and fatherhood. And it's a lot different when you're single. When it's just you and you ain't got to think about nobody and you doing you, guess what? You can do you because you ain't got nobody to focus on or function. But when you become a parent and now somebody is looking to you to protect them, to provide for them, to educate them, to make sure that their well-being is good. But I'm going to tell you something right now, as God is my witness. You can't make sure nobody is good in your world until you're good. If you dealing with emotional strife, if you dealing with a mental challenge, especially our new mothers, and some of our new fathers don't even realize how to even be prepared for our new mothers. Postpartum depression is a real thing. And if you're a young lady and you don't have support or guidance or a good mother or a good grandmother or a good auntie or a great friend that will be that support for you, you know how many people are running around here like a chicken with their head cut off because they don't know what to do with their world? This is how a woman can go and kill her kids and blow their brains out. You know why? Because she probably was asking for help and saying, hey, help me. Something's going on. I need help. Whoop, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell y'all, when I had my breakdown in 2017, y'all, I mean, It was one of the most liberating things, I'd say, but it was also a scary thing because especially Black women, we have this tendency of being okay. I'm okay. I'm all right. And we ain't okay. And we ain't all right. But we will go day by day, by day, by day, by day. And we're saying, I'm okay, I'm all right. But internally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we know we ain't okay. And we know all it takes is one person to talk crazy to us, say something wild to us, do something weird to us, and we snapping. You gonna get everything that I've been dealing with for the last few years. And all you said was X, Y, and Z. But this is one of the reasons why we have to operate and deal with each other on a level of sensitivity and humaneness. My shirt says more hope, more humanity, more acceptance. Because at the end of the day, I'm not telling you that I'm okay with your behaviors, but what I am saying is I understand where you're coming from. See, if we learn to deal with each other with a lot more understanding, we wouldn't be so quick to judge. We real quick because we think we the judge and the jury of everybody in their situation, but let us pull the sheet off of your situation. And then we see, oh, you ain't no better than me. And see, a lot of us, we are able to disguise our problems because ain't nobody in our household that know what we got going on. See, a lot of us are able to hide our emotional distress and our mental illnesses and our problems that we have because guess what? We drown in it with Casamigos and Hennessy and blunts and shopping and hanging out. And we're disguising it with the makeup and we're disguising it with the new kicks and the new clothes and the look at my watch and look at my chain. But you really broken. You trying to keep up with a lifestyle. And see, right here in Detroit and in the metro area, we have 11 million people across the United States is getting ready to be evicted and homeless. We had one of our congresswomen who has been fighting for the eviction memorandum for affordable housing for years. You want to know why your rent and your bills are so high? It's because we don't have affordable housing, but yet they're willing to give us money in disadvantaged neighborhoods and low-income areas. So what that says is our neighborhoods are classified as low-income and disadvantaged, but yet we're not creating laws and we're not putting mandates on landlords and homeowners who are putting these high prices on these homes. I never forget when I was looking for me a house and my son was staying with his grandmother and I was staying in my truck wherever I could stay and I would go wherever I needed to go. And then I finally moved in with my sister-in-law and got myself together and got some things taken care of. But during that time I was looking for a house and application $50 is non-refundable. Like you gonna just take my $50 for this application? Huh? So wait, you gonna do a whole credit check? Okay, credit good. Okay, all that's good. But I don't get no money. Like, wait. Oh, and then you want me to pay you two bands to move in? You want, like, it ain't even as simple as it used to be back in the day. You see a sign say for rent, you call and say, hey, is the place still available? They say yay or nay. If it's available, they say, come take a look. You go take a look. If you like it, bada bing, bada boom. But because some of you are so trifling, you have made it where people literally have to secure the bag before you even get there. And at the end of the day, we have put ourselves in such a crab in a bucket, dog eat dog world where we don't trust each other. We make it difficult for one another. I look at people and I understand why there's so scarcity about their stuff. Because we grew up in a world where Black people didn't get nothing. So the little scraps that we did get, we hold on to it like we ain't gonna never get it again. Right now, people are gonna be dependent upon a refund check come January and you won't get one. You know why? Because you got money, all this money pre-approved and all the because see, what you don't understand is that there are laws and there are things that these white folks just slip and slide right on in. We're not the United States of America. We are the divided states, the divided snakes of America. And I'm going to tell you something. Snakes produce snakes. They don't produce sheep. This is why when you listen to certain leaders, you got to be mindful of what's being put in your spirit. Because everybody ain't looking out for your good intentions. Everybody ain't making sure you're good. Yeah, they going to come to you with a Coke and a smile, but that don't mean that they have your best interests at heart. That's why you got to make sure that you are connected to the divine creator. Before I go ask you for your opinion that I can't do nothing with, I'm going to talk to God about it. He going to send me somebody that's either going to say yay or nay. But see, a lot of us, we don't want to listen. That's why a lot of our heartache, our heartbreak, our challenges, our disappointments, they come from because we ain't listening. We ain't paying attention to what the divine is saying to us, the people that he's put in our life to give us that wisdom. You know why? Because we don't want nobody telling us nothing. Who you think you are? We don't like being checked by nobody. We don't like apologizing when we're wrong. And the crazy part about it is that these are people that talk about they love God, go to church, praising the Lord. And this is why people who don't go to church have the frustrations and decide they don't want to be a part. Why would I want to go there if everything that's in there is out here? What is the difference in the distinct difference between the two? See, there are people who don't like talking to me because I'm going to give you the truth. And see, the truth is ugly sometimes. See, when I talked to God about the things that I was dealing with, the problems I was struggling with, the people I was envious of, the jealousy I was dealing with, the heartbroken I was carrying, the dysfunction in my family, the trauma that I had to get over and deal with. Some of us don't want to deal with that. And we want to act like we just going to forget about it and brush it under the rug, but you can't. You cannot brush this stuff under the rug if you think that you're going to survive for what's getting ready to come. You won't be able to survive. Because if you are mindful of your own spirit, you'll be mindful of the spirits that are on other people. See, my little sister, she's 20 years old. Happy birthday, Marshawn. But one of the things that I learned about my sister is that she's still growing. No matter how mature she may be, no matter how much she may be on her stuff, at her age, there are some things that you have to grow through, you have to get through, you have to understand, and it only comes with experience. It only comes when you go through something. That's why another woman who don't have kids can't tell another woman who do. You can't teach me nothing, sis. You can tell me what you could have done in your opinion of what would be the best option for you. But you can't tell somebody something that you have not experienced. I can teach women about raising a son. You know why? Because I raised one. And as challenging as it was to raise a young man in a world that's conducive to killing you, not only by the white man, but by your own people, that's a tough job. I commend women out there that are single and are raising children. I commend fathers out there that are trying to take care of their child with the things that they have. But I'm going to tell you something. If we're not careful, we will continue the generational curses that have been plaguing our generations for generations to come. We start businesses. We're not training our kids to learn the books. We're not training our kids to understand the merchandise. No, they don't want to be there. Yeah, they want to be with their friends. But guess what? They like the lights on in their house, don't they? They like being able to click that remote and the TV come on, don't you? You like to be able to call mom and say, hey, can I get $20 to go hang out with my friends? See, my son knew, hey, boy, you better get in here and take some pictures. Boy, go talk to that customer. Go get them ready. Tell them to put their phones on silent or vibrate. Because, see, I raised my son to understand that if you don't get the job or the career don't work out, we got some businesses over here that's doing just well. And you know the business. You know the business. So because you know the business, we're going to make sure you understand where we need to go for the next level. And see, we are a people that like to hide information and hoard information. If I don't know where I got it from, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna say, you know what? I don't even remember where I got it from. And it's the honest to God truth. But I'm not the female that's like, oh, I don't know where I got my dress from. Like, yeah, I got it on 9 Mile and Coolidge, right over there at the plaza, right over there. It was on sale. I don't know if they got any more, but that's where I got it from. But see, we don't do that. We don't do it until it's the last minute, where now it is dependent upon somebody else to help us. Or we'll share information long as it's to help us get to the next level. But why not just share information because we need to? There are some things that I don't know. And I'm learning in the media and television and radio industry. I went to Specs Howard. I graduated for communications, a minor in radio and TV. But time has changed. And there are things that you got to learn. And there are things that you have to grow into and make it your own. But the minute that you think you know everything, the minute that you think, oh, I got everything under wraps. I'm this, I'm that. I got it under control. The minute that you feel like you don't got to listen to nobody, or the minute that you feel so haughty, the minute that you feel like, oh, I don't need you. Huh? You kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something. Every person that helps me, I need them. Because I can't do it on my own. I'm not an octopus. I have 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 feet. I can't be everywhere at once. So I'm grateful for the people who decide to say, you know what, I want to pour into her. I want to support her business. I want to make sure that she's good. Because if she's good, then I know I'm going to be good. If she gets to a place of success, and I know, and see, I'm going to tell you something. You got to be mindful of how you treat people when you get to a place of success. As you're going through the journey of success. See, some of us get so haughty because we done made a couple dollars, or we done scammed a couple dollars. And now we think we've arrived, or we think we've made it. And we think that we at another place in life. Let me tell you something. When my mom was dying, and she was sitting over there at the Fairlane Nursing Home on Joy Road in Greenfield, and I was coming there every day from the Wayne County Clerk's office, every day off from work, picking the kids up, going there, making sure my mama was good. See, there was a peace that I had while I was at work, knowing that my mom was okay. Let me tell you why. Because there were people who worked there that I went to McFarland with. It was people that worked there that I went to Drew Middle School with. It was people that worked there that went to McKenzie. It was people that worked there that was from my hood in Joy Road that saw me at the grocery store. There were people that worked there that I had spoke life into, that I had mentored their kids, that my brothers and sisters was friends with. Now just imagine if we was beefing or we had a problem with one another. Now I got to worry about, is my mama okay? That's not something that we should be worrying about in the Black community. I shouldn't be worried about if I bring my child over there with you, is my child going to be okay? Is he going to come back home with scars on him, emotionally messed up, psychologically? See, this is why we got to work on us. Because if we don't, we'll end up putting that stuff off on our kids. My son's little brother right now, popping Percocets, going to jail, robbing cars. You know why? Because the parenting ain't focused on parenting. They focus on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And before long, you'll be visiting your kid in prison. At the end of the day, some of us are focused on the wrong things. And see, the thing about it is I was never a person that turned down help because I needed it. I didn't want to be a person that hindered my son from a better life because I didn't want to get help. Let me tell y'all something. Judge Deborah Nance, listen, she definitely gave me a second chance because I didn't understand that my habits were getting ready to turn into a lifestyle. And old alcoholics was once young alcoholics. You see them women and them men out here that are homeless, that are suffering from mental illnesses. That didn't just happen overnight. The other day I was leaving a meeting, preparing for some stuff we're preparing for next year. And this man, he came out the bushes, y'all. He was laid out in the bushes like it was a whole bed, y'all. Like, it was so funny. But the women I was with, they were startled. Like, whoa, hold on, brother. And I said, yo, what's up? What's good, bro? He like, oh, I just want to know, you got a cigarette or, I'm like, nah, cuz I ain't got no square for you today. But, You know what I'm saying? Maybe check me out next time I see you. She was like, how did you just talk to him like that? I said, because my brother was him. I said, he may not be homeless. He may actually have a home, but he may be suffering from mental illness or whatever the change that he's dealing with that's causing him to feel like the only comfortable place that he can be is in these streets. See, what you fail to understand is that Governor Engler, one of the governors that we have for the state of Michigan, closed down the mental facilities. They dried up, and all of a sudden the money and the funds that was meant to help the mental people in our community, it all of a sudden evaporated and disappeared. This is why we got to stay on the necks and the heads of the people, of the leaders in our community, because there's funds set aside to help certain programs and certain things. But if ain't nobody paying attention, that money comes up real dry and it gets real funny and the change gets real strange. And now everybody trying to figure out what happened to the money, but don't nobody know nothing. How come? Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me we got approved for $168 million, but y'all don't know where none of the money went? How? I talk to people all the time that are in government, that are in Washington, D.C. right now. And we have money to help and do certain programs. But if we're not careful, we'll be paying attention to the new TV shows that's out. We'll be paying attention to the media and what they're feeding into our spirits. We have to get more responsible for the things that will affect our families. If your TV show don't come out ever again, you ain't gonna die. But if they cut off our water supply, what you gonna do? You thinking about that? Because the last time I checked, they was able to shut down 6 states worth of power. I was there. Was you there when the power went out? Because I was there. I mean, they all the power, like the bank, gas station, the hospital, like they needed generators. Because I don't know if you remember, but I remember. So if it was that simple to do that then, what makes you think it's not that simple to do it now? Literally, while they had us in the houses, they was throwing up towers in our community. Literally. Have you ever been downtown with a radiation tool? I have. The radiation is through the roof. It's extremely unhealthy. But we get upset because our Wi-Fi ain't going fast enough. If you grew up without Wi-Fi, you will live. This is one of the reasons why we got to teach our children that there is life outside of these phones. There's life outside of that iPad. There's life outside of that computer. Because if we're not careful, these white folks, these Middle Eastern folks, they know how to survive if stuff shut down. We the ones that's the consumer. Gimme. But what are we making? That's the part. How are we equipping our people to be better? See, one of the reasons we suffer is because we're double-minded and unstable in all our ways. And I know because I was there. You know, I didn't know which side of the track. Do I want to be pro-black? Do I want to focus on me? And I had to think. Anything that affects me is going to affect the people that's connected to me. My son is codependent upon me. I don't care how old he gets. He's going to look to me for wisdom, for experience, for education. And if I'm not in a place where I can help him, guess where he's going to go and look for help? Out in these streets. This is one of the reasons why you got to focus on getting you all the way together on all levels. When your spirit man ain't right, you got to pray, God, get my spirit right. Something's off about me. I don't know what it is, but I need your help. You better start going to the person and the people that can help you. I don't go to people that can't help me. Because why would I do that? Your life is a mess. And this is another thing. Why you ain't paying attention to people's fruit? Let me tell you something. I connect with people who are fruitful, meaning not only do they produce their own fruit, but when we come together, we're going to build something bigger and better. Now I'm coming to take from your tree. Let me collect everything that I can collect off your tree and let me go back over here to my stuff. Why are we doing that to one another? Why is it so hard for us to big each other up and to extend that olive branch? Why is it so difficult for us to check ourselves before we decide we want to check somebody else? We real quick to let somebody have it. Do you ever let yourself have it? Do you ever sit in the mirror and say, you know what? You need to get your attitude together. You ever look and talk to yourself and say, you know what? You need to get your finances together. You need to stop spending all this money, and you need to get you a financial plan together. And not only are you saying this to yourself, but you're doing a follow through. Okay? Just like a doctor's appointment, a follow up on yourself. Because a lot of us, we don't like getting checked, and we don't like checking ourselves because it makes us feel uncomfortable. See, I had to become comfortable with all the parts of me in order for me to make sure that you're comfortable with all the parts of you. Before I can get up here and tell you about being delivered and being healed, I got to get delivered and healed myself. See, I can't say I'm healed and I'm still picking at the scab, because now you ain't healed. See, a lot of us have a lot of strongholds on us because we keep picking at the scab. We won't let it heal. We keep picking at the wound and we won't let it heal. We won't forgive the people who've hurt us or the people who've put us in certain positions because we keep picking at the scab. I know I was the one. I was the one picking at the scab too, because every time I thought about it, it made me angry. Every time I thought about the betrayal or the mishaps or the backbite, it made me upset. Like, how you gonna do me like that? But then I had to get myself together, because guess what? If I carried that energy that they gave me about their issues and their challenges and their problems, it don't make me no better. Listen, if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, follow me on social media. Follow me on all my platforms, Instagram, social media. Listen, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Jaja, because you do. Stop acting brand new. Because then when you see me with your favorite celebrity, you're going to be like, oh, I know her. Oh, I know Jaja. When they saw me with Ghost from Power, oh, mysteriously, oh, these people came out of nowhere that I never talked to. Oh, so you are watching. Oh, so you are paying attention. And see, this is one of the things that it causes us to not move forward as a people. When we know people are good and great at what they do, and we don't want to give them the accolades and what they deserve. And then when they die, you want to be up at the podium talking about how great of a person they were and how they were this and how they were that. But while they're alive, you don't got 2 words to say to them. Where we do that at? Where we do that at? And we real quick to talk about what we did for somebody else. Are you quick to talk about what they did for you? See, we never want to say the full truth. We only like telling the parts that make us look like the victim and them the villain. That's why you got to be careful what you say about people. You got to be careful how you put your mouth on somebody. You got to be careful, because you never know. Oh, you talking about me being bald head? Then next thing you know, your baby girl got a bald spot in her head. Now you got to deal with your daughter hair falling out. See, this is why you got to be careful about what you say about people. Oh, you talking about, oh, that kid is fat, or them being this and them being that. Next thing you know, the next following year, you suffer from diabetes. Now you fat. Now you got some issues. But see, this is what people don't realize and what people don't understand is that, yeah, we may not have heard your conversation, but God heard your conversation. God hears and knows all. He sits high and he looks low, beholding the good and the evil. God ain't just watching the people that's doing good. He watching the people that ain't shit too. And no matter what you say or what you do or how you cover it up, God knows. You can fool us and hoodwink and bamboozle us, which is something I don't understand. Why do you feel comfortable hoodwinking your own people? Why do you feel comfortable with our basements flooding when the infrastructure should have been changed? Because what that tells me is that you're not concerned about the well-being of your constituents. You're not concerned about the people in your household. Let me tell you something. When I cook dinner for the people I love, I do it with love. I don't put nothing together I'm slapping together. Just here go to dinner. That ain't love. You don't do. Who doing that? I don't want to ever come to your house to eat. If this is how you operate and formulate. And see, when you understand that the black families are in an emergency right now, we're in an emergency right now. If you get kicked out and a homeowner or the landlord where you live decide, you know what, I don't want you to live here no more. I want to put my aunt and my niece and my nephew in this house, so you got 30 days. Then what you gonna do? Because see, now we get comfortable. 20 years being a renter instead of going to get our credit fixed. 20 years being a renter and we think we own the house and the landlord that lost the house to foreclosure. Now you got to figure out where you gonna live. We got to get out of these repetitious habits that hinder us from growing. See, I'm putting myself in a position where if I got to get out of this country, I will leave. Because if and when I become an elected official, y'all niggas ain't gonna kill me because y'all don't want to take care of y'all business. You ain't gonna do it. Yeah, I said it before. I take it back. I'm gonna add more to it. You ain't gonna kill me. And see, we take on stresses from other people. We want to make sure other people are good. We become concerned about the well-being of other people. But then, do they be concerned about the well-being of us? We go out of our way to make sure people are good. But do they go out of their way to make sure you're good? See, there are some things that I had to draw back from. And this is one of the reasons why a Jelani Day and a Daniel Robinson can go missing. A little girl in our neighborhood can go missing because we ain't paying attention. It was the other day I was at the store and this little girl was out here and I said, "Where your mama at? Where your daddy at?" "Oh, I'm waiting on my cousin." "Who? What cousin? Where they at? How long will it be before they get here? Because you shouldn't be out here by yourself." But see, little weirdo, freaky old man, he just looking, skinning and grinning, waiting for his opportunity to see what he can get from a little girl. This is the world we living in. This is the psychology and the mindset of people who are literally messed up in our world. And if we are not careful, we gonna help hurt our own people. This is why sex trafficking and kidnapping is so prevalent within our communities. You know why it's prevalent in our communities? Because we're not paying attention to the right things. We focus on the wrong things. We putting the wrong people in office. We got this scratch my back, I scratch your back mentality. We on a name recognition tool. And I'm going to tell you something, baby. What God has for me is for me. And I thank God every day that God put it on my mother and my father's heart to name me Jaja. Because at the end of the day, regardless if you like me or you don't like me, you know me. And when I do things and when I operate, I do them with good intentions, God intentions. I ain't doing it for the benefit of me. I don't get paid to teach you or give you the knowledge and the understanding that you need. You know why? Because I know it's going to pay off for me in the long run. Not just on an income level, but on an impact level. And see, when you are impactful, income comes. That's not something I'm worried about. Everything that I need to have paid for that's going to keep me alive and keep me well is taken care of. And even if I can't take care of it, God will bless me with somebody that can. This is why you got to stay tapped in. And see, this is the thing. Not only do you got to stay tapped in, but you're going to have to let some stuff go. Some of us are harboring some things about some people that we should have called them on the phone and talked to them about. But see, we don't like doing that. There are some things that we should have said, hey, we need to have a conversation. And see, I'm at a place right now where I'm not going to initiate no conversation with somebody to know what they did. We adults. We grown. I initiate conversations with people who are not aware of what they do. Because I can understand you may not be aware of how you moving. But for people that understand how they moving, why I got to initiate a conversation with you? You know you scandalous. You know what you said. You know what you did. You should be initiating a conversation with me so that we can get some clarity on what exactly did you mean, even though I already know. But see, a lot of people are cowards. You know, we love to have private conversations about people, but we don't say nothing in public. We love to say how we doing this and supporting, but then when it comes out to actually speaking up and saying what needs to be said, we on mute. Well, you just said that we need. Well, what happened? What happened to the change? See, and this is the thing. They know how we're going to operate. Why you think the phones are coming with chips and the debit cards got chips on them now? Because they are tailor making things for our lives. Why you think we got so many liquor stores and not enough libraries right here in our communities? Why do you think we have more beauty supply stores than we do schools? Guess what? Because they are tracking how we are consuming. They know education ain't our number one priority. And even though black folks get up every time they run for office and they talk about how they want to have better education, well, we got black folks that's leading our whole school board. Why we don't have a better education? You know why? Because they okay with a superintendent having his kids in a whole nother school district, and that don't seem to bother nobody, so you ain't gonna say nothing? Then y'all sitting up here calling yourselves bishops, reverends, pastors, this, that, and the third, but y'all don't speak up. Y'all right here, right behind, scooping up whatever the little crumbs and gibbets they gonna give us. How? How is it that we are the ones that suffer the most when we're the ones that's leading the people? How? Why aren't we chin-checking those that are leading? Our ombudsman. They're supposed to be making sure all of the complaints and things that are going on. Who's double-checking him? Who's triple-checking? Who's checking? Why is 94 on the highway still flooding? Why is it not fixed? Who's doing the check and balances? When you are missing eggs at your house and you can't make your meatloaf or your cake or you can't make your eggs in the morning, ain't nobody checking you to say, you got to get eggs unless you live in a household with people that are checking. Hey, you go to mop and you don't have no more pine saw. Guess what? You either check to see if you got it or you don't. And if you don't, you go out and you don't get what you need. Why is it that they know what we need and they know that it needs to be fixed, but they ain't fixing it? This is one of the reasons why we have to tap in to our best selves and make sure that we are in a position where we are checking. We are doing checks and balances for the next generation. Because if we don't, guess what? We're going to have another generation of leadership that's scandalous, that ain't following up, that will sit at the table and say they for the people and then turn around and put that money right in their pocket because it's profits over the people instead of people over the profits. Those Haitians that's trying to escape poor leadership because black folks don't know how to work together but be envious of one another because somebody's moving a lot faster or have the heartstrings of the people a lot more than you do, and now you over here folded up with your face. That's why they was able to kill Martin Luther King. You know why? Because one of the Negroes that was hanging right with him was okay with setting him up. Why you think it was okay for let me tell you something. They were getting ready to build bridges and close gaps with the country that we come from. The country that everything in this world is coming from. Gold, diamonds, ivory, silk, from food, spices, animals, up the wazoo. Why you think they hid our history for 400 years? Because they know that if we get just an inkling of who we are and who we're supposed to be, we will operate in a different way. Some of us have issues with our brothers and our sisters and turn around talking about we love God. The Bible says you cannot love God and hate your brother or your sister. You just can't do it. It's just not how that's supposed to go. It just don't operate that way. And it also says if you have an ought against your brother or your sister, you go to them. And if you go to them and they ain't receiving it, you go to them with somebody else. They ain't receiving it. Okay, you go to them with somebody else and you go to them before God. And then you be done with it. But see, a lot of us, we want you to beg. People want you to beg. Beg for me to be around. Beg for me because I'm this and I'm that. No, you're replaceable. This is why people get real haughty in their positions as if they own them. You don't own the president of the company. You like when you become the CEO, even of your own company. Once it gets to a certain place, you can be voted out of your own company. Come on, somebody. For those of you that are in business, that seat that you got voted in, it may be your seat this season, but it's going to be somebody else's seat the next season. And another thing, why aren't we passing the baton and preparing the next generation or those that are going to be leading? We don't pass the baton. We catch an attitude because somebody check us. We catch an attitude because somebody may do it better than us or look better than us. And so now it invokes our insecurities. Now it exacerbates how we are feeling internally, because externally we all can act like we the shit. Everybody can act like they a boss. Everybody can act like they got their life together. But when you by yourself and you feeling some type of way and you going through the motions as to why this is happening, that's why you got to get to know you. All of you, your triggers, your mindset, your trauma, your thought process, the people that were connected to you, the men in your life, the women in your life, the money that you're dealing with. See, some of us don't want to be real with ourselves. We say we real until we really got to look in our mirrors and see the real for what it is. Do you have an anger problem? Are you easily offended? Do you suffer from abandonment? See, we don't want to tap into those issues. Did your mama actually cause you more trauma and you don't want to hurt your mama feelings? But guess what? Let me tell you something. I told my mom, listen, growing up, I said, you can't depend on what I'm going to be. I'm growing into who I'm becoming. You are dependent upon me taking off. And yes, I did disappoint you by becoming a teenage mom, but either you're going to be with me or you're going to be against me. Because right now, I don't have time to be trying to kiss your butt because I made a mistake and I made a bad decision to deal with somebody that I should have never dealt with. Yeah, you told me to leave him alone. Yeah, you told him to leave me alone. But guess what? That didn't happen. The kid is here. So what we do? Is you helping me or not? Because I can't have you keep being on my head about a decision that I made. And that's another thing. We drill and we drill and we drill each other about the mistakes that we've made and about the wrong things that we've done. But yet we ain't willing to forgive one another. We want everybody to forgive us. But are you willing to do that same forgiving? When you cross somebody, you want somebody to forgive you. But when they cross you, you ready to take them out. And if you think for 1 second that they put up all the ropes and they put up all the whips and they put up the bulldogs and they put up the horses, you got another thing coming. You think they put up the sheets? You think Ku Klux Klan is gone? They still here. They are police officers. They are prosecuting attorneys. They are governors. They are congressmen now. They not just walking around with just the sheet with the two little eyes and the pointy hat now. They're at our grocery stores. They're at our liquor stores. And I'm going to tell you another thing. They ain't just white either. Because at the end of the day, if you're tuning in, you're listening to, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about change is coming. And if you're not ready for the change, you're going to get caught up with the things that are going to be happening to you. If you think that it was bad before and the depression was bad before, people are dying every day at the hospital right now. They ain't telling y'all. And it ain't just because they unvaccinated, because it's vaccinated people that's dying too. And I'm going to tell you something. This is one of the reasons why you just cannot be codependent on a shot or not a shot, whether you got it or you didn't get it. There are other elements that your body needs besides a foreign substance, besides a Tylenol pill, besides NyQuil, besides your blood pressure medication, besides your insulin. Your body needs certain things in order for it to even function. Water, all day, regular. Ain't nobody got time to play no games. Your body is made up of water. That's why it's called energy. If your energy and your vibration is low, maybe you need to check your water intake. If your attitude is off, maybe you need to check your fruit and vegetable intake. Because guess what? McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, Wendy's, Domino's, Pizza Hut, Church's Chicken, all of those things are not nutrients in order for you to survive. This is where we get messed up because we think that it's an easy fix. Got to be careful with those easy fixes. Those easy fixes will put us right back in a position, if not worse, than what we are before. Because we want to look for the easy way out. We don't want to lose the weight. We want to go get the BBL. And I ain't shade nobody to want to get whatever you want to get. Go get it, boo. If that's what's going to happen, that's what you want to do. But you also have to understand the ramifications that come behind you cutting up on your body. You're going to also have to deal with the ramifications of the results of what you get when you do it. Because guess what? You may not get the attention that you was looking for. This is why we have to make sure that we love ourselves 100% all the way through and through before we make certain decisions about the changes. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to, yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because at the end of the day, if we don't learn to let certain things go, as well as build up certain things in our hearts and in our minds, we going to go crazy. You get short-tempered with your kids because they saying mama or daddy. You crying because the baby crying. The money is funny and the change is strange. But guess what? You don't think that they knew that about our people? They going to say, watch once we take this unemployment money, what's going to happen? Oh, the pawn shop went up. Crime went up. The hustle went up. Carjacking went up. You got to pay attention. While you living your best life, not worried about nothing that's going on, people are watching. And see, at the end of the day, you got to watch who's watching you. See, that's one of the reasons why my page is open. I know people that watch me, I ain't even friends with them. They say they don't like me, but yet they steady watching me. You know why? Because I come with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And it's coming from a place of purity. And see, people have to be mindful of the favors that people do for them. You have to be mindful of the people you stick your neck out for. Because while you sticking your neck out for them, are they putting their leg out to trip you? That's why I don't get caught up in other people's situations. And I don't play about my child. I don't play about my next generation because he's the next generation. We play too much. Like everything is a game. This ain't no game. If these folks who own these grocery stores go back across 8 Mile, go back across Telegraph, if these folks shut down these gas stations, what y'all gonna do? Break in? That's gonna be your only choice? That's gonna be your only choice. Because at the end of the day, food, money, things that are gonna help us get to the next level, if they want to shut it down, they can shut it down. And then what are you going to do? We barely can get a double cheeseburger together for the people that work at the fast food restaurant. How we going to survive? Do you know how to plant seeds? Do you know how to toil your backyard? Are you equipped with coal? Do you have oil set up? You got food and water in the basement? You got canned goods? Or everything in your house is processed for you to put in the oven and the microwave? Do your children know the closest precinct to them? Do you know who's your city council member? Do you know who to contact in the event that you are having some challenges? These are some of the things that we have to become a lot more equipped with. And if you see somebody doing a great job within your community, it ain't up to you to be sitting there with your arms folded talking about, look at her trying to do this. That's the shadiness of our people. This is why we can't get ahead. Oh, we'll go so far. We'll go so far because we always doing this. Instead of bigging up the people that are doing the great things in the community. We always want to sit here and be like we neighborhood watch, but we ain't watching what's really going on in our neighborhoods. The other day I seen some young men, and every time I see young men, the first thing that I want to do is encourage them. Because let me tell you something, the idle mind is the devil workshop. The minute that a young man say he don't see no other way, he gonna find the way that he see other people doing. Oh, okay, this is how they doing it. How you think my brothers ended up in prison? My brothers ended up in prison because they listen to these dumbass fools over here that's doing jewelry heists, smashing and grabbing, running up in jewelry stores, smashing the jewelry cases, pulling them out, trying to outrun the police and outdrive the police. And now you in prison. Now your sons and daughters don't have no parent because you trying to hit a lick. Or you a part of an accessory to a crime and now you locked up. I grew up without a father because my father didn't want to tell on his cousin who shot somebody for a triple fat goose coat. You shot him for a coat, my nigga? I missed out on having a childhood with my father because he want to drive the getaway car and put it in my auntie backyard and hide the license plate as if there aren't witnesses. People watching and people paying attention. And people are tired. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm in a place in my life where I'm calling a spade, a duck, a duck. If it walk like a duck, talk like a duck, quack like a duck, guess what? It's a duck. Why are y'all trying to act like it's a moose? It ain't. And we skip right on over and act like what's happening in our world is okay. It's not okay. And we go right back to living our lives as if, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, like we just move on. We just move on. And they know we're going to move on because it's like it's a repetitious thing. It just keep happening. It keep happening. It keep happening. And we make a little noise for a little while. We'll make a little, and this is what bothers me about people that are in leadership, that do have the influence. And you have to understand, guess what? I need to listen to somebody who's doing better than me. Because right now, I don't see a way out of this situation, but I do know somebody who's been in a situation like this. Let me glean to them. Let me see how I can be an asset to them, how they can be an asset to me. But we also can't be being cheap with each other either. I had a meeting yesterday with somebody, and I was so super disappointed in them. Because as high of a caliber person as they were, they acted real small and cheap. And I'm going to tell you something. You don't go in the Gucci store being cheap. You let them know, I'm coming in here to buy Gucci. You don't go in the Versace store being cheap. You go in there with I'm about to buy some Versace. You don't go out to dinner saying, ooh, I'm about to be cheap. No, you go in there with the confidence of this is what I'm getting ready to do. And that's the mindset that we should have with anything that we put our names on. Anything that's affiliated with us. I took pride and I take pride in being a mother. Some of you mothers are trifling. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You chasing the man more than you are putting emphasis on your children and making sure they're good. Because that Negro can decide he don't want you today. You still going to have them kids. Same thing with these fathers. You chasing behind the money, but your children are suffering over here because ain't no father there. You frustrated because now you done had all these kids. Well, you know it's a thing called pull-out game. It's a thing called condoms. It's a thing called preventative measures. So you can't be upset if now all of a sudden now you got a baby and you can't sleep. Well, guess what? That's the repercussions of having unprotected sex. You have a baby, and that baby's gonna cry. It's gonna want food. It's gonna want love and attention. It don't know what it want at times. And that's from being a baby all the way up to being a young adult. A lot of us didn't know what the hell we wanted to do with our lives when we were in our 20s. Some of us had an ideal, but it wasn't until we started having experiences and challenges and changes in our lives and in our worlds that made us understand, okay, this is what I want to do with my life. It wasn't until you lost something that you understood what you need to do with your life. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Change is coming. And if you are not prepared for the changes that are getting ready to happen, you are going to fall by the wayside. I'm telling you. While people are laughing at people who are standing in the food line, them the smart people. You know why? Because they saying, let me go get this free food. And I can save the money that's on this card in case of emergency. Let me see what I can get from over here. But you also got to understand, we can't be using each other either. We will use each other until we can't use each other up no more. And then a white man come over here and they start using us. Now we got a problem. Well, no, you didn't even have a problem with using up your brother or sister. But now you got a problem because this raw chicken Caucasian brother or sister that came up in here and they done worked us. Now you wanna fold up your arms and put up the fist. No, that same energy needs to go toward everything that we do amongst one another. Get it together. Get it together. And if we don't get it together now, and if we don't get it right now, I'm going to tell you something. We are going to see families losing more families. See, everybody can't handle the loss and the grief of a loved one. That causes mental anguish. And if you're not equipped to understand what it means to deal with certain situations and have an understanding about certain things, guess what? You'll get caught up by the wayside. I went crazy after my mama died because you know what? I wasn't anticipating for her to die because I was so focused and so dependent upon the doctors healing my mama that I didn't understand that God heals, doctors treat. And see, we become codependent on the healing from a doctor and not the healing from God. And then we get upset because God didn't do what we wanted him to do, but we were codependent upon the pills. We were codependent upon the drugs. We were codependent upon the what is that? When they give you a prescription. Well, I need my prescription. When was the last time you had water? When was the last time you ate an apple? When was the last time you put down the fried chicken and baked it? We can't keep blaming other people now for some of the mishaps. Your relationships with your children, they are only predicated amongst the work that you do. Some of us have given to our children, give, and then you want to know why your children end up spoiled brats. There were some things that I could have given my son, but I chose not to because I wanted him to understand the power of understanding what it means to not have. You don't need to be rocking Gucci before you understand who God is in your life. Some of our kids, they got all the name brand, but they can't even name you 5 sources of income. They can't even name you the last 4 presidents. They wouldn't even be able to tell you how to count. I remember putting some money in front of it. Tell me what this is. Is this a $5, a $20, a $10? But they want the money. What are we preparing our children for? What are we preparing the future for? What is our leadership preparing? How are they passing the baton to the next leadership? Okay, this is your last term, but who did we vet to replace you? Then everybody gets to running. Now we done split the ticket. And this is how we keep the white people in office. And this is how they keep continuing to steal from us. You know why? Because we don't know how to be united and work together. Then when you got an issue with somebody, you want to put them on blast instead of going to them and having a real conversation. We don't like having no real niggas conversation. But we calling ourselves real niggas all day. Why you don't want to have a real nigga conversation? You know why? Because you don't want to be checked. You don't want to be held accountable. You don't want to say, you know what, I am wrong. I do need to do better. I didn't do best. I did make a mistake. I didn't make the best decision for my people. See, there was some accountability that my father had to take when my brothers went to prison. You know why? Because he knew he wasn't there. He had to look at himself in the mirror and understand that the mistakes that he made became generational. That's a generational curse. If your uncles is in prison, your father was in prison, then your brothers turn, your sons turn around, that's another generation. When we do that, when we stop paying attention to the stuff that we need to be paying attention to, that's how stuff gets slid through the cracks. They building more prisons than they are schools. You know why? Because they know your son and your daughter is headed right on over there. They getting that uniform, that blue and orange uniform ready. They getting that burgundy uniform ready. That beige uniform ready. Okay? Them hashtags that we using, They getting ready to put a hashtag with 6 numbers on your back. Because we're not paying attention to the stuff that we need to be paying attention to. We're not preparing our children for what they need to be prepared for. But they over here doing TikTok videos all day long. They know more about TikTok than they know about some of the leaders in our community. How is it that you know about Stone Cold Steve Austin from WWE, but you don't know W.E.B. Du Bois? Yeah, you know about Phyllis Hyman, but you don't know about Phyllis Wheatley. How is it that you listen to Moneybagg Yo, but you ain't heard nothing about Minister Farrakhan or Malcolm X? Because you know why? Because we ain't thinking about it until they slap us in the face, and now it's like, oh snap! This was Jaja been talking about. This is what the ancestors was trying to teach us. This is what the leaders that was trying to kick it with us and tell us and prepare us for. But we don't want to listen to nobody because we want to look sweet. We want to show off the latest jewelry that we got. We want to show off the latest chain we just bought, you dummy. Why did you go buy that? And you don't own a home. You don't own a car. You're paying a car note. I'll never get a car note ever again. Ever. You renting. The money you bought with the chain should have been the money you bought your credit to get fixed. But see, we ain't thinking about that. And we won't start thinking about it until the change happens. And see, the wealthy, they can get up and get the hell on if some stuff pop off. What you gonna do? But like, while we're focused on what this person is doing and what that person is doing and what they're building over there, what are you doing? What are you building? You laying up with him. You laying up with her. What are y'all doing? Y'all having more kids to teach them what? So you gonna stay on welfare forever? Like, when do we get to a point where we have better expectations for ourselves? This is why they can keep us as consumers. Because if we don't understand that we need to start building for our own communities, we are always gonna be behind. Listen, if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know Jaja. Listen, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I talked today all about change is coming. What are you finna do? Finna, yeah, I said finna. What you finna do? Because if they say, you know what, we're going to shut this city back down, we shutting the state back down, what you going to do? What you going to do? And see, we aren't preparing our children for the next generation because we barely prepared for it ourselves. We got our kids babysitting our kids because we ain't prepared for childcare. Now they missing school because you ain't prepared for your children to be taken care of while the oldest need to be in school. Because we're not taking care of our business. But then we causing more confusion in other people's lives and not getting our own lives together. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, tune in tomorrow for tomorrow's new episode of Uncommon Conversation with your girl, Jaja. I got my girl, Miss Bunny May, in the building. She's going to be on my show. And listen, when I tell you this show is going to be absolutely a riot. It was such a great honor and great fun to have her on the show. And if you want to be on the show, if you want to be on Uncommon Conversations with Jaja, listen, tap in, slide in my DMs. Listen, I'm all about showcasing people that are doing positive things right within our community. Because 2, 4, and 7 got all the ghetto drama and the bad stuff covered. I'm not looking to cover that. I'm looking to cover the great things that the Black people that look like you and me are doing. Okay? Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, make sure you're washing your hands, make sure you're wearing your mask, and make sure you're eating your fruits and your vegetables and drinking your water and staying out the way. Listen, if you ain't got to be there, then you don't need to be there. Listen, I love y'all. Have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful day. And until next week, peace.